Okay, guys, my name's Craig. Welcome back to All Nerd Everything, where I discuss everything from comic books, film, TV shows, anime, everything you love. I discuss, and I know I'm very late to this, as the title says. I kept putting this off, but we need to discuss Daredevil, Daredevil Born Again. Now, I didn't know where this was headed when this was first announced. I didn't know that it, excuse me, I wasn't sure if this was going to be just as good as the original three seasons that was on Netflix, or if they were gonna Disney plus it up, so to speak. And it was it was the latter. It was what I expected it to be, which, excuse me, is not a good thing at all. Now, let me just emphasize by saying I did not hate this series, but I was very disappointed. Now, for starters, this was supposed to be 18 episodes, originally 18 episodes, but I'm not sure what happened. It could have been the writer's strike about a year and a half ago, where some things got put off and some episodes for TV shows got cut because of the writer's strike. And there was a lot of stuff that was affected because of that. So it could have been that. I'm not too sure. But I will say with this series, this was inspired by Daredevil Born Again was inspired by the 2019 run of Daredevil and also the 2015 run of Daredevil. And in the 2019 issue series of Daredevil, I believe that's the one where Kingpin is the mayor of New York. It's either that one or the 2015 one. I believe it's the 2019 run, but if you guys want to get more into the story of what they base Daredevil Born Again off of, I would suggest read those two runs on the Marvel app. They are a lot better, in my opinion. The source material that influenced this series is a lot better than the series itself. Now, the acting is great. However, the first episode, ugh, yuck, yuck, ew, gross, basura. Just, I don't know what happened. For starters, spoiler alert for anyone who has not seen Daredevil Born Again, but killing off Foggy was the biggest mistake that they made. I don't know what they were planning to do, but not not only was killing Foggy a big mistake this new iteration of Daredevil, but also making Karen disappear for months when Matt is in his time of need, because in season 3 of Daredevil, despite, you know, the fact that Matt had abandonment issues, Karen said that she was never going to leave him and that she's always going to be by his side. So in this, with, both of them losing their best friend Foggy, it's weird that she would just up excuse me. It's weird that she would just up and leave him in his time of need. That feels very out of character, and you can tell that the people that wrote this series are not the same people that wrote the original run of the first 3 seasons of Daredevil. This feels just a lot of things just feel just out of place, and it just not was not written well. The pacing is extreme. The pacing is all over the place. There's a lack of action sequences. The ones we do get are cool every now and then, but my main problem is not only the pacing is bad, but the only interesting thing about the series is everything with Kingpin. Everything aside from that, I don't really care about. I mean, Matt's girlfriend she's a dick. She's unlikable. And also, just the way that the supporting characters don't matter as much as they did in the original run of the series. The supporting characters like Foggy and and Karen played a huge part of the story, and they were needed. So it to me in this show, it just feels like the Daredevil Kingpin. It just feels like a Daredevil Kingpin show, and that's a major problem. Not only, excuse me. Oh God, I don't know what's going on, but also this feels more like a CSI show or one of those Law and Order shows. There is a lack of focus on on Matt's lawyering and also his life as his life as Daredevil. There seems to be there was a clear separation between the two in the original series, and there was even sometimes where it would merge, where he would have to act as himself to find out something to where he would act as himself to find out something from find out something that he would use as Daredevil. That I mean, a lot of times in the original series, he had to you know just be himself in order to go above the law when he becomes Daredevil at nighttime. So there was a lot of merging between a lot of crooked things that were going on between his personal between the criminals that he was handling that the criminals that he was dealing with in the original series. And in Daredevil Born Again, it seems like neither of those really matter as much, especially Daredevil. I mean, we see him in the first episode, and then he doesn't put the costume back on again until episode 7, I believe, which is a very, very long time. And I don't know what they were thinking, but the pacing could have been handled a lot better. And they already did the whole Matt giving up Daredevil thing. They did it in the original run at the end of season 2 when Elektra died, which led into Defenders, where he still was acting as Daredevil because he was recovering from losing the love of his life. And in season 3, he gave up his life as himself, as Matt Murdock, and was focusing more as his alter ego, Daredevil. So it seems like the writers either didn't watch the original series and didn't really pay attention and were just, retreading old storylines of, identity crisis and self worth, or they just didn't care and they just decided to do it all over again for the people that didn't watch the original run of Daredevil. And also Muse. Muse, ugh, they absolutely ruined him. Muse in the comics is a psychological is a serial killer who uses his victim's blood to paint his art, which is a phenomenal concept for a villain. And the way he's portrayed in this is just some nerdy white loser, which I absolutely hated. And the fact that they gave him an identity, and I didn't like that at all. I think it would have been best left as, Muse is just some random guy that's influenced by Daredevil's vigilante, that he wants to gain his attention, so he starts unaliving people and using their blood to paint murals. to gain his attention. I think that would have been a great way to. I think that would have been a great concept for Muse in the TV series, but in the TV series they went the opposite route and just made him some nerdy white dude who gets unalive by Daredevil and I mean not Daredevil but his girlfriend. I don't even remember her name in episode 2, I believe. Not, I mean, not in episode 2, but I think he doesn't appear until episode 5 or 6 or something, and then he dies in 7 or 8 or something like that, which is very disappointing. I think it would have been a lot more scarier if they made Muse have no face. He's just some random guy that's influenced by Daredevil's vigilante, wants to gain his attention, unalives everyone, unalives innocent civilians, and uses their blood to gain his attention. Uses their blood to paint murals around the the city of New York to gain Matt's attention. And also, there's a panel in one of the comics. I'm not sure which one. He goes up to a uh, a random civilians and takes a selfie with them before he unalives them. I think that would have been a great way to show that he doesn't care about anything except his art. If they would have done something like that in the show, I think fans would have ate it up. And also, something I didn't like is that they took away Muse's ability to detect in the comics. Muse can basically think can he has the ability to sense Daredevil's detection. So basically, he could cancel out Daredevil's ability to detect him. So Daredevil is at a severe disadvantage. So he has to pretty much think on his feet and use his brain to think of how to defeat Muse. But in Born Again, they take away Muse's ability to cancel out Daredevil's, hearing ability. So Muse just got mollywopped, and they wasted a great villain in a span of the two episodes that he appears in. Plus, on top of that, the CGI in this show is garbage. I hate it. It does not feel real at all. That's the one thing I really hate about this series is the look of it. It doesn't even feel like New York at all. Like the original Marvel Netflix series, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, all of those, they use the city to their advantage. It actually feels like New York in all four of those series that I just named. It feels like New York is a character as opposed to something in the background. But in Daredevil Born Again, New York is a background as opposed to a character. Like Matt Reeves, the Batman. The Batman, Gotham City is a character, which is why I love the movie so much. It reminds me so much of. It took me back to when I was playing the Arkham games when I was a teenager, and I absolutely love it. The cinematography is beautiful, and with this, the characters are obviously just standing standing on a rooftop looking at a green screen, and it looks so terrible. It feels like a step down from the original, like I said, the original Netflix Marvel series, because the New York surrounding, the New York setting, and having it be something that the characters can interact with by just looking over the New York skyline was absolutely beautiful. Even if New York isn't the most elegant place to live in, just being able to see the characters interact in whether it's Hell's Kitchen or Brooklyn or whatever it is was a sight to see. But seeing these characters look over the New York skyline, or seeing like airplanes fly in this series, or even Daredevil running up the wall, which I've been wanting to see that for a long time, and when we finally get it, it's terrible green screen. It was just so hard to watch this a lot of times, and I was struggling to even finish this series. And as far as Punisher goes, I think they could have done a lot more with John Berthal's Punisher. What I would have done differently is I would have had Matt come to Punisher to to you uh, stuttering over my words. I would have had Matt come to Punisher to help him recover from, you know, just trying to get his bearings back to becoming Daredevil. He's losing a lot of his, not his abilities, but he's losing his idea of, you know, he just can't focus on the physical aspect of being Daredevil, and he's getting, you know, physically brutalized and battered in the streets, and barely making it out alive. So I would have followed the 2019 run of Daredevil and had the fans have, you know, people in New York dress up as Daredevil, and Kingpin uses his crooked police officers to unalive the find whoever's dressing as the vigilantes, but instead of arresting them, he's unalive the cops under Fist payroll is unaliving them, and they're wearing Punisher's, you know, symbol because of that. That's when he decides to interfere and actually help Matt. That's what I would have done. The only episodes I actually liked of the series are the last two. Those are my thoughts on this series. Overall, I'm giving this series a C minus. If it wasn't for the last two, I would have absolutely hated this. So let me know what you guys think of Daredevil Born Again, because if I was disappointed. I did not hate the series, but I would have if it wasn't for the last two episodes. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next review.